Hey everyone, this amazing ESO Network show is brought to you by our fine sponsor, Amazon.com. Please remember to shop Amazon for all your geeky needs, no matter what time of the year it is. All you need to do is go to esopodcast.com/ESO Amazon, or click on the Amazon banner on the ESO Network webpage to go to our e-store. It's the best way to shop and the best way to support this program, and it doesn't cost you anything extra. Okay, that's enough of me babbling for now. Now on with your regular scheduled show.
Are you ready to rock?
This is where the world of pop culture and talk collide.
Hey, how you doing, kids?
This is the Adam and JP Show.
And I'm going to introduce your panel. Josh is holding the door. Josh is the host of Collection Connection podcast. Down on the end is Adam. He's the Adam part of the Adam and JP Show.
That is I.
Whitney Roberts, who's a co-host of the Broken Token podcast from Louisville, Kentucky. Well, is it fair to say Louisville?
Louisville.
Okay. Louisville?
Louisville.
Yeah,
Louisville.
Oh, yeah, right, Louisville.
Yeah. I mean, there's any one of 13 will work.
Right.
We have Patrick Wall from Southern Fried Gameroom Expo, which is a convention or an expo in Atlanta every year. And he is also one of the co-hosts of Gameroom Junkies podcast. And I am JP, the JP part of the Adam and JP show. It's like an Adam and JP sandwich, and you guys are in the middle.
No.
All right, so we're now we're officially supposed to talk. Are you coming up here? You come on.
You want to do it?
We can put you on. Do you mind sharing with Adam, or do you want to be in here with Whitney? So we're officially supposed to talk about the future of gaming. That's what it says on the program. So let's start with Adam.
Yeah.
Are you down there?
I'm down here. Hey.
I can't see you.
Hello.
You have been playing games a long time. Why don't you start and, based on what you see today, what do you think the trends of the future might be?
I think we all thought at first that virtual reality was a flash in the pan. It was a gimmick because we've heard the term virtual reality for 20 plus years. We've seen it happen. We've played Beachhead. It's not fun. But now with seeing PlayStation 4 virtual reality, I believe it is a legitimate avenue of gaming, honestly. I even played the dev kits of the Oculus Rift 2 or 3 years ago. I thought that was the future. I didn't believe it after playing it. It was fun. It was cool for what it was. But as far as an interactive, just deep game, I don't see myself doing that. And it even gave me some motion sickness. But with the PlayStation 4 virtual reality, it is maybe not the future, but a different branch of the gaming future. So I believe that could be a possible source for fun in the future. What do you think, guys? VR, real or not?
Yeah, it's a good question, Brent. Let's go to you. Let's go to Brent on the end.
Answer fast. Well, most of the stuff that we look at is
wrong. No, I'm sorry.
It's coin op.
Yeah.
And I've seen the VR stuff come along, and I've seen the fits and the starts. And what was it? Google had the paper out there trying to really kind of get it into the market. And now Samsung's really pushing. Of course, I don't know if you want a flaming Samsung phone on your forehead or not. It's not, the best outcome. But I haven't kept up with it because it seems like every time I hear of something, it goes away. And nothing is really taken off yet.
Yeah.
Oculus has been around, but that's like a dev kit, basically, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's really expensive. So, I just don't think it's there yet.
I think that the simple fact of what is old has become new, and we see something like Nintendo releasing the NES mini version and 30 games from 30 plus years ago, and it's bringing $1,000 on eBay as of earlier today. I just I mean, it's being scalped to no limit, really. I mean, I'm with Brent. I think that there's going to be a period where we see a lot of technologies kind of flash in the pan, gain some acceptance, and then somewhat fizzle out. But I truly believe that we always return back to our roots to some degree, and history will always be somewhat cyclical in that manner. So, we'll see some new stuff, but so much of what we play, we've already played, and we'll be looking forward to playing again. I don't know. It's weird. That's probably a non-answer for an answer, but it's to me, it's the answer.
Thank you, Mr. Trump.
Yeah, no worries.
I have another non-answer. I think back to the days of when the Wii came out. Remember how that was crazy and everybody wanted one and was so innovative using that handheld motion controller. And I would have said that was the future of gaming back then.
Right.
But gosh, it fizzled out quick.
I know.
Right? And so with the VR thing, I did get a chance to play the Sony VR thing for the first time. I haven't done an Oculus, and my understanding was that the whole key to this generation of VR was two things. It was price and the fact that you don't get sick. And I spent 3 minutes doing a race game. I wasn't even flying the Eagle, and I wanted to throw up my lunch.
Yeah.
So, and then my other comment, so I don't know where it's going to go. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I should take some Dramamine beforehand. But my other comment is this VR thing is going to take off and it's going to stay if the porn industry really gets going on it. And yeah, really? Yeah. So I think, the porn industry made the VHS revolution. And so if they continue down this road, sir, I forgot your name. I'm sorry. Tony was confirming that it's too late for the porn industry to get into VR. But if they continue down that road, then innovation is going to come, and you're going to. You see what I did there? So innovation is going to happen, and you're going to. I mean, I really think you're going to see it be in every household. So I think.
Well, what's interesting with the virtual reality is how long they've been trying this. Because I remember, and this is something Adam and I have talked about before. I remember when I was in college in 1990, and we would go. I went to Tennessee Tech, and one day it was this huge deal because in the student union they were going to set up virtual reality, the wave of the future. And this was around the time of Lawnmower Man, the movie. And so we go to the student union, and you stand in this big circle. And then you put the goggles on, and everything are like red lines and red dots. And then even Nintendo tried it, Adam, with the Virtual Boy, right?
If you want to call it that. Yeah.
That was like their first foray into virtual reality.
Was that virtual reality or just like 3D?
They tried. I mean, it was just red and blacks, and it was poorly designed.
It made you sick too, didn't it?
It was like headache-inducing. It was terrible. To me, it was terrible.
And so having gone through all those failed attempts at virtual reality, I was really blown away the first time I put the Oculus Rift on and did that. Now, I haven't had a chance to do the Sony yet, the PS4. But from all indications, it's pretty cool. So it's still hard for me to believe that as a gamer, as your casual gamer, and I'm not talking about the hardcore gamers, I'm talking about as a casual gamer, because that's probably more where I come from, that every time I want to sit down and play a game, I'm going to put a helmet on and go through all that. When for years, I've just been accustomed to grabbing a controller and going.
Yeah, that's a hard selling point.
Or a phone now, or a mobile device.
That's right. Yeah.
Do you remember a few years ago, the 3D TVs? They were the active glasses.
Oh,
so
right.
They were $200 or $300 for the glasses, and they were battery powered.
Right.
Well, it wasn't a year and a half or 2 years, and those were surpassed, and now it's they're passive. You still have glasses. But at least it's not that heavy, that experience, all that extra hardware. And it's going to take a revolution like that, in my opinion,
it's true,
to make it really, penetrate the market.
Right.
So how many people tried the Sony VR over there? Or have anywhere else? You guys did? Yeah.
What were your thoughts on that?
Obviously you did, Woody, because you helped me to get my thing on really good. Thank you. That was good. I mean, you were so gentle.
Josh? Not so much. So what else do you guys think that could, when you look at gaming now and you look, because it almost seems like I do see a huge difference in the PS3 and the PS4. There are lots of differences, but they're not drastic differences like you saw, say, when you went from the Nintendo to the Super Nintendo. I mean, there was a time when a new console came out, you saw drastic differences. So what do you guys think? Do you think as the consoles go forward? Are you guys console gamers or PC gamers? Mostly console? A little bit. What about you guys? PC? Yeah. So even with the PC gaming, what do you think some of the trends might be in the future? I mean, how much further can we go with gaming?
I don't know. From what I saw from the PlayStation, the Oculus still beats it in terms of games by far.
See, I think one of the trends that we're going to see in the future, and being PC gamers, you guys can actually talk to this, and that is how much longer, and I'm going to get some hate saying this, how much longer will console gaming be relevant? Because it seems like we're slowly trying to head, even on the consoles, slowly trying to head to that we stream every game we play. What do you guys think?
I think you're always going to want those people that can just sit down, turn on the system, and just go and play a game. Like the ease of use when it comes to the console is like it's almost undeniable. You just go, you put in what you want to play, or it's already on there because you downloaded it. Hit the button, hit start, and go. With PC gaming, there's still a lot more that has to be handled in the front end, and some people don't want to deal with that regardless of how easy it gets. Like now anymore, like back in the day when I first started playing games on PC, like driver updates were like that was an issue. That was a struggle you were going to deal with for at least an hour, and then you're going to have to go through and manually put in those driver updates, and then that will spill. By that time, you're just frustrated and you want to do something else. But now anymore, it is really simple to do. You have an interface already, and you just go and do it. So even with it being that easy, some people don't want to deal with that stuff. They just want to be able to go and just hit play and go. So I think console games are always going to be relevant.
Yeah, I would agree with that because, I mean, PC gaming, I'm not a PC gamer, but working in that industry for my entire career, you're always chasing the trail that NVIDIA or AMD leaves behind you, they leave behind, and that's in front of you, because there's always a new card, there's always something to buy, new monitors, new whatever. You unpack an Xbox One or you unpack a PlayStation 4, and that's what you got. So it's undeniable. And you'll never get done building a gaming rig, because as soon as you get done building a gaming PC, it's out of date. You have to build again. You have to go buy a new card. Things like that. So I think gaming PCs will appeal to a certain segment of the population always, because they want that upper echelon of performance and capability. But we're talking the general buying public that also shops for their games when they go to Walmart to get their milk and everything else. Those guys, you're not going to be able to sell. Yeah. They're not your core audience for PC gaming at all. Yeah.
So, can I take a tangent on this? This reminds me of something. Can I take a tangent on this briefly? Because I need the panel's help and the audience's help. I was thinking about the holidays and want to get a new console. We currently have an Xbox 360. And so I was asking my buddy at work, I said, hey, what do you think I should get? I think I should get an Xbox One or a PlayStation 4. Shut up, Microsoft. He works for Microsoft. And he said, no. He said, I think you should just get a gaming PC. I'm not going to do that because my kids are 13 and 10. And this is for the same reasons he just talked about. I'm not going to do that. But let's go back to the first question. PlayStation 4 or Xbox 360?
I'd say PS4. Yeah,
PS. Why? VR?
It's not just the VR. The VR is, like Casey says, the VR is something that if you want to move into that niche, then it's available to you, but there's still that price point of an additional $400 on the console you've already bought. But I think when you look at the overall performance of the two consoles, like you can put multi-platform games side by side, and there are noticeable differences between the Xbox One and the PS4. Now, if that's something that you really care about, you're going to go with the PS4, but then PlayStation, Sony in general has a wider range of franchises and games. Like when you think Xbox One, you think Halo, and you think Gears of War came out. So what's left? Something else they're going to come up with later on. But everybody knows the Sony franchises that are going to come out, and those are going to continue to come out because they'll stay popular.
All right, thank you. Anything to add to that?
Yeah, totally agree. PS4 pushes more pixels and has more games.
Yep.
Hey, did you hear that, Adam?
Yeah.
Sorry, he's an Xbox One guy.
I am. Yeah,
You're not a Sony fan.
Yeah, I'm just an Xbox guy. I'm one of those people. I just like it.
I think what you're getting though is the backwards compatibility.
Exactly. Yeah.
Maybe the Xbox games, the Xbox 360 games, that you're going to want to go back and play. Like you said, go back to your roots. You buy the PS4, you might as well.
Yeah. Your roots of 2014.
Yes.
Yeah.
So one of the advantages, at least back in the day, used to be Xbox Live over the PlayStation Network. Is that still the case?
It's still a better service than PSN. That's a fact as well, I'd say. It's gotten better, yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah.
What about a Steam? Oh, go ahead.
But I can even give you something from a different perspective. I own both systems.
All right.
One of the things about it that Microsoft never tells you is that the Xbox One will actually passively, even if the system is turned off, will download things for the system and slam your internet. And you have to do extensive research on the internet to find out that that happens so that you can disconnect it from the internet so that you know that your internet is not being slammed at that point in time. I went through time after time after time figuring out why in the world is my internet just slammed nonstop, to the point where when I hooked up the PlayStation, never have to disconnect it, never have to mess with anything like that. And from what I understand, and I haven't been able to figure it out yet, you cannot turn off keeping it from downloading things in the background while you're gaming, as well as when the system's turned off.
Hey, can you do a favor for me? Don't come in here and start bragging because you have both systems. Are you a rich kid? Like Woody was the rich kid in the last panel, now you're the rich kid? As someone who has both. Joking.
Hasn't Nintendo announced? I know it's my voice. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. What?
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry, Father Death. What did you say?
Hasn't Nintendo just announced, was it the Switch?
Yeah.
Is it just out there just in pictures? Does anybody?
That's a good point, because is the Switch going to be everything it's cracked up to be?
I think the Switch is going to do a lot better than what people were giving it credit for.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people are comparing it to the PlayStation, the PS4 Pro, and whatever the Scorpio is going to be. Which who knows? It's going to be an Xbox One with the Indian for all we know. Like when you look at those two consoles, they are technically like technological half steps. It's just like slightly more power, and the console was already there. As far as we know for the Scorpio as well. But the Switch is something completely new, and it's something that is going to also be able to essentially marry two different catalogs together, because now you have the handheld stuff and the console stuff all together in one. And if they can do that, if they can take Animal Crossing and the Super Mario Brothers games and put them on the one console that you can take anywhere, that's going to make a pretty big splash.
The real question is, will Adam be able to play with his amiibos on the Nintendo Switch?
That's a good question. That's a good question. Can I play the Nintendo Switch on the toilet like I can the Wii U? Okay. I shall buy the system. Can I play with the amiibos on the toilet on my Switch?
Now, was that going to be cartridge based, or have they said?
Yeah, it's almost like a 3DS style, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just kind of curious, is anybody going to buy the $100 3DS when it comes out here in just maybe three weeks or so?
I saw the Black Friday ad.
I'm
curious.
I think you can get it in either like a custom black or custom white. I mean, that's a pretty strong price point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm going to buy one as well.
Yeah.
Is that just a scaled down DS, or is it a new?
No, the 3DS is like the next model. It's the newest
it's
version.
Yeah. Gosh, I may actually buy one.
Yeah.
I'm going to buy like two.
Yeah.
Just because one for each hand.
Well, no, I'll break one and then I'll have one.
Like day one, you're just going to smash it.
I'll drop it walking out of the
Okay,
store.
all right. You know your limits. That's fine.
I think the Switch may have a hard time getting to what we want it to be, and that is we sit at home and we play something. Say I'm going to use GTA 5 because that's a big game as an example. You know, with the Nintendo Switch, you can play GTA 5 at home and then pick it up and play it mobile. And truthfully, I don't think we're there yet.
For us arcade people, what is that?
Which
you can take
GTA?
Centipede and play Millipede on the road.
GTA.
Grand Theft Auto. Grand Theft Auto. Grand Theft Auto 5.
I thought that was a Trans Am from the 80s.
No, sorry.
Okay.
Man, it's the cold medicine, right? I just don't know if the Switch. It's obviously we're not there yet, but I think that's what we want to get to, because, and something we haven't mentioned here is mobile gaming is probably really the biggest trend of the future, and we're there now.
Yes.
Yeah, because with the microtransactions in those games, these app guys are getting hugely rich.
Have you seen the money that the Kim Kardashian app receives daily?
There's a Kim Kardashian
and it makes millions daily, pretty much. I'm serious. Check. It's you can.
What does it
I think
do?
dress her up, give her some makeup. I have no idea. That's what my friends tell me.
Dress her up, put some makeup on her.
But I mean, it's making millions monthly. I know that for sure. As an actual number, I saw millions monthly on a Kim Kardashian free app with microtransactions.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, it's interesting that you mentioned mobile gaming because every time that we leave the house, my daughter, before she'll hop in the car, she makes sure that she has her 3DS with her.
Mm-hmm.
She packs her 3DS with her like everywhere she goes. And she loves it. She's 11, and I mean, to me, that's about as close to retro as I can get her at this point in time for her to really latch onto it, but she's completely invested in the whole Nintendo ecosystem when it comes to the storylines and the characters and everything like that. So I think the Switch is going to do really well. It'll be something that I'll enjoy and that I can give to her and play with her on that particular console, and then she'll enjoy as well. And mobility's there too. So I actually have high hopes for it.
We've talked about the console. We focused on that, talked about the Nintendo Switch. Let's go to our PC guys. Like, what's the future of Steam, do you think? And what will that do for overall gaming?
Steam Box, is that a failure?
Yeah.
Is that a thing?
Steam Box?
Yeah.
No, not really for PC gaming.
Mm-hmm.
Steam in general has been huge for the indie game movement, really. So
Mm-hmm.
there's been way more games come out because of Steam than anything consoles could have pushed out if they don't publish. So lots of games out on Steam. You can find games you never even knew existed that are your new favorite game, like Stardew Valley, coming out to consoles now, things like that.
Is it coming to consoles? I didn't know that.
What was it?
Stardew Valley?
But that's a good point when you talk about the development aspect, because with Steam and keeping with PC gaming, there's a lot of games that come out in beta testing that actually allow you to kind of almost, probably use a bad word, buy stock in the game, because you pay a little bit to play the beta version, and that goes towards help building a full version. My only complaint with that is sometimes it takes a long time. Like, what's the game I played for like 2 years, and I think it's still in beta, Adam.
What was that?
Josh, we played it. The zombie game.
It's got a Z in the name.
Yeah. It does have Z. Thank you.
Yeah.
H1Z1.
You, sir, win the internet for the night.
Yeah. H1Z1.
Is that still in beta?
I think it is. I think it is.
Wow.
Well, no, they released a version, but it was supposed to come to consoles, and it hasn't yet.
Yeah. I kind of want to talk about the past and the future. Can we do that? Because we have some of this sandwich. The meat and cheese of the sandwich, clearly, they're more arcade and pinball guys. That's an awesome thing. Much respect for that. And we all love that kind of stuff. That's why we're here this weekend. But we have to agree the reason the arcade and pinball scene kind of went down is because of the accessibility and the ease of having a console in your home, in your living room. And as we talked about the future of that, as these consoles may go away because of the rise of mobile gaming and PC gaming, you see possibly a rise for the arcade and pinball scene to come back now that maybe the console will be out in 5, 10, 15, 20 years. What do you think of that?
Well, you're already seeing it in I mean, it's a niche thing today, but VP Cabs is a perfect example. They got, what was it, Shark Tank? The exposure they got on Shark Tank to bring that out to the world. And, their prices are reasonable. I mean, for what they're building compared to modern, like, coin-op equipment. You're $5,000 into a Buck Hunter. You're $3,000 into one of their machines. You can take it home. You've got pinball. So, and that's feeding the physical pinball world as well, in my opinion.
I think for the future of arcade and pinball, in light of this conversation, I think we're going to see pinball continue on and continue to grow. Arcades, not so much. I mean, there's really nobody manufacturing new arcade games. Every arcade game that you go out there and see on the floor today is 30 plus years old, unless someone has done a custom build job or 61, 91, something like that. That to me is considered an homage to the arcades in a cabinet, but it's not quote unquote an arcade. It's not a true blue arcade cabinet. I think pinball, just like Brent said, like with the VP cabs, that's where we're going to see this segment of the industry continue to live on, because Stern, Jersey Jack, Spooky, and others, they're keeping the dream alive. Nintendo, Atari, whatever it may be, they just don't seem to exhibit any interest at all, unfortunately. Yeah.
I mean, I would agree with that sentiment about pinball and arcade. I would disagree that virtual pinball is the way of the future. It's just, guys, it's just not the same. No matter, what sort of lipstick you put on there, it is not the same. It looks neat, and you have a variety of tables. It is not the same.
Well, I think it's good to draw people in, though, because a lot of people, maybe they can't play pinball. Maybe it's their first exposure. Hopefully it increases some interest.
It's hard to play, I think.
It is.
It's harder than regular pinball. I will say, though, yeah, it is. Oh, because there's, the depth. There's the depth issue. But I will say, you want some wine?
I'm going to survive. I'll be all right.
Okay.
I thought it was going to be Adam that was going to die because he's had 5 energy drinks before this one, but
he's going to pop. No wonder it's so warm over here. I thought it was me.
5 energy drinks. I will say that we're in a golden age of pinball again, I guess. This is the second golden age. Holy cow. Have you guys played Dialed In out there?
No.
Y'all, before the expo's over, before you leave, go play Dialed In. It's made by Jersey Jack. Whitney and I just got a chance to play, spend some quality time with it. But, I mean, there's a mode in that game where, so it's all based on sort of an emergency in a city, and you have to keep your cell phone charged. It's kind of an odd theme, but they pull it off. And there's one mode in there where you have to do something, and you go into selfie mode. And somewhere on the game, there's a camera that starts taking pictures of you, and on the LCD backglass, the screen in the backglass, at the end of the mode, it shows you all these selfie snapshots of yourself playing the game. That's cool.
See, it did that to me, all the flashers went off like a flash.
Yeah.
And it probably had a picture of me looking like I was about to crap myself. Oh my God. I went to a time warp.
And then he lost his voice.
And I lost my voice.
So we talked about virtual reality, and we asked, is that just a fad or is that actually a future trend? What about augmented reality, like Pokemon Go? It was a phenomenon this past year, but do you think that's going to be a trend going forward?
Another dozen people get hit by a bus, and I think it'll get shut down.
But we have more games coming. I mean, they're quickly developing games featuring that.
Oh, I imagine so. I mean, it was such a hit.
Yeah.
I mean, even
Save Nintendo.
I mean, you're out of Atlanta, and are you based? You and Adam based here?
Yes, in Nashville area.
So we're out of
Right
Louisville.
here, this hotel I live here.
Actually. No wonder you look so at home.
I know. I'm so comfortable.
Even in Louisville, which, I mean, we're a fairly decent-sized city, but there were several people that had a cottage industry in Louisville just making T-shirts and hats so they can pit one team against another to play Pokemon Go. It was amazing.
Wow. I don't know. I think it's Adam. What do you think? Because you have opinions on this.
Right. I played it hardcore for about 2 or 3 months.
And you said you'd never stop playing.
Yeah. I mean, say a lot of stuff. But eventually I did stop playing that. It became the same thing over and over. And I swore to myself I would never have an in-game app purchase. I would never pay real money for that. And I think that at a certain point you have to do that for those games like that. Like the Kim Kardashian game we just looked up, which, by the way, he looked it up.
Do you have that app? You
I do not.
keep talking about
we just
it
looked it
a
up
lot.
on the Play Store here, and it has a 4.3 out of 5-star rating and almost 1 million ratings and reviews. Not downloads, almost 1 million reviews.
Does it have an update where you can actually steal your money back from Kim Kardashian?
Maybe so. But at 4.3 out of 5 stars and almost 1 million reviews, man.
This game is a great time passer and has a really great story plot and nice features. Is there any good story plot that has the word Kardashian
That is better than
in
her
it?
actual personality.
Let me tangent a little bit. What do you all think about in-game app purchases? Because in our world, the game is the game.
The game is the game,
Whether it's
yeah.
pen or old school video or whatever. And
is it though?
Everybody complains about the app purchases. Like I listen to your all show, and you have modern game segments. And there's conversations about. I mean, do you think that will eventually people will get tired of that?
No, I think people always fall for it because there's the free game. The game is free. I can spend $5 here. I can do $10 here. 20's not so bad. And after 2 years went by, you've spent $275 on Kim Kardashian. So my friends tell me.
Wait a minute, though. Wait. You say the game is the game.
Yeah.
But I think the genesis of in-game purchases starts with the arcade games. Oh, it's only 25 cents to play. Oh, unless you want to keep playing.
Yeah.
Then it's another 25 cents.
Like
you want to
Turtles.
save where you are? That's another 25 cents. So it kind of started with the arcade
You're right,
games.
it did.
It's true.
Whitney is enamored. Oh, look, was that?
I think the problem that I've got is I've just searched Kim Kardashian in the App Store and I've been scrolling for what feels like 120 seconds and I'm still not done.
Don't go too low
with games. So
Don't go too
this
far.
is insane.
So I think you make a valid point though. While he's looking for Kim, and that is,
I'm done. Officially done.
Lunar Lander out there, 1979. Every quarter gives you a certain number of fuel points, and you need those fuel points to actually play the game. So you can put in as many quarters you want, have as much fuel as you want. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Exact same thing.
We were playing WrestleFest, and our pro wrestlers in the ring were running out of stamina. You put more quarters in for more energy.
Yeah.
That
Who
was
won that,
WrestleFest.
Adam?
I forgot. Kim Kardashian.
1979.
I fall for it. I mean, and then the 2016 version of that is Hearthstone. I mean, when I started playing Hearthstone, yeah, I'll admit it. Yeah, you get a free pack of cards every day or when you finish whatever the quest is. But I would buy cards because I would want better cards than I was getting in the game.
So is that a video game or is that?
It is, yeah.
Yes.
Or is that a video card game like the Pokemon stuff and the Magic?
Yeah, it's like a video game based on a card game. So it's using the World of Warcraft characters
which is kind of like in-game purchases because you're buying more.
The game is free, totally free, but you can spend $1,000 to open digital card packs, and you have better cards than other players.
So
you can spend nothing if you want, but to be legitimate, you've got to spend some money.
So I'm kind of curious. As I'd mentioned earlier, my daughter's 11, so she's a big Minecrafter. Out of curiosity, has anybody here played Roblox or heard of Roblox?
I've seen it. I've never played it.
Okay, yeah, because it's a virtual builder world that also has in-app purchases. And I was just kind of curious if anybody had gone down that road and looked at that. But
Tony?
Yeah.
I've heard of it. One of my cousins has played it.
Okay.
He thought it was pretty cool, but yeah, he hit the paywall.
It was and that's it. And my daughter hit the paywall, and she's like, "Daddy," I'm like, "Nope, not doing that."
That's definitely, that will be something that won't go away. No matter what we see in the future, you're always going to see,
I think the freemium games, they call them, the free premium games, it's just a draw in. I mean, even Candy Crush. People were playing that game that don't play video games, but Candy Crush made millions. And grandmothers were playing that in drive-thrus of fast food restaurants.
How do they monetize that? Was it in-app purchases?
Yeah. But once again, the game is free, but if you want extra lives, you've got to pay money to continue playing. Yeah,
I've never played it.
But that once again, like Kim Kardashian, it was a free game and it made millions. Candy Crush. I mean, that's pretty much. We've played Bejeweled for years, right? With candy.
I don't know. I mean, I like the model. It's like letting you demo the game to see if you like it, and then if you do, you pay.
Yeah.
That's true. That's better than it was back in the day with classic consoles.
Hell yeah.
There was really no way to play those games before you
$60, and you better hope you like it.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't that much then.
I hope you. It was close.
Yeah,
It
$40.
was
You better
close.
hope you like it.
Yeah.
Have you seen the coffee table book, The Art of Atari? And it talks. It talks. It's a book. It talks better than I talk.
Do you have that?
Does it tell you a story?
Whitney has it, and it's The Art of Atari, and it's how like the box art was this wonderful, fantastic, like in the 2600 days, and I guess it carried forward through the 78 and 52. How was this wonderful, fantastic scene of like some guy sitting at a control panel like Missile Command and missiles and all, and you get there and it's a dot when you play the game, you know, and to draw the kid in because you couldn't play it, you couldn't demo it the way that was your track screen.
Yeah.
Was the art of the box.
We found out last night Patrick is a huge fan of Missile Command. Was it Missile Command?
It was.
Yeah.
It was Missile Command.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you don't like it.
I thought you didn't like it.
No, he didn't like Space Invaders.
Oh, Space
like
Invaders
Space
is the one you
Invaders.
didn't
I
like.
like Missile Command.
That was what he didn't like.
I thought we were going to keep that quiet, though, for the controversy.
No.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Well, Well, most of these people were here last night.
Yeah.
It's still among friends.
I would say that Atari's art is second to none. I was just telling Brent that I bought many Atari 2600 cartridges, games based on the box art alone. I'd get it home, play it. I would not be disappointed because I was just such a huge fan of that platform. But the box art would endear itself to me, and it allowed me to imagine what the game was trying to convey back to me. Without the box art, the game would have been actually somewhat one-dimensional. So to me, I think Atari did it. Their marketing was genius on that. Really? And of course, they had to do it the way that they did it, whether it be accidental or intentional. It was solid gold. I love that. In 35 years, fast forward 35 years to today, I still look at the Atari box art and I'm amazed at what I see. It's good
That's
stuff.
why there's a coffee table book on it.
I think it's fair to say that gaming today is a more immersive than it used to be. Now you can argue, the actual experience of going to an arcade and playing a classic arcade game was immersive in itself. But as far as the actual game, when you play a Fallout 4 today or a Mass Effect sequel today, it's more immersive. Yes? No? Yes?
Yeah.
No?
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
So they treat these properties more like a motion picture than a video game now. They want it to be that kind of experience. So I want to ask you guys, and I'll ask you guys, when you play a modern game today, what do you think makes that game immersive? Is it all the voice work that goes into it? Is it the music? Is it the story?
No.
Is it the writing?
I listen to AC/DC while I play Donkey Kong. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Adam?
I think all of that. They're having movie production qualities, professional voiceover actors, professional composers for the songs. It's just the level, the quality is just higher. It's just more immersive because of that. It's that. That's all there is to it. It's just higher quality.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's a cinematic experience is what gets me.
Yeah.
And I can share my seminal moment with this. I believe it was on the original Xbox. I had just moved into our new house. We finished the basement. And I put up a projector and a 90-inch screen hooked up to my Xbox with 7.1 full stereo surround. It sounded good. So I'm playing the original Call of Duty, which I think that's what it was. It was a World War II game. Am I right on this, guys?
Nope. Yeah.
Call of Duty 3 was World War II?
Possibly Medal of Honor? No?
Yeah, maybe that was what it was.
Maybe.
So it was a World War II game. And I felt like it was in the war.
Yeah.
I mean, because you can, with that system, I could hear, I didn't have to worry about people sneaking up behind me because I could hear what was going on back here. And I knew which direction to pan, right? Because I had that directional, that sense. And then, again, with the cinematics, with the blowing up, with the music, and man, I tell you what, I was like, wow, this is it.
Yeah.
This is it. And that was original Xbox. It's only gotten better since then.
Yeah. It's the narrative, it's the story to it. I mean, I love, with everything I have, I love Miss Pac-Man. I love, a Booger Man from the Sega Genesis. But those don't have stories like a Bioshock, like a Fallout. They don't have there's no story. It's not bashing it. That's just a fact. There's no narrative. There's no story to the classic games. I mean, that's just what it has, narrative, story.
So you can be emotionally moved by a video game.
I've had tears come from my face for games, but once again, I love Miss Pac-Man. I've never been moved to tears from Miss Pac-Man. That's the draw to that, I guess. Yeah.
I mean, is it fair to say that's something you get today that maybe you...
What game moved you to tears? I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. I kind of want to know, too.
I think the Walking Dead Telltale series. Have you guys played that before? Anyone? That was teary. Sometimes in the Bioshock series, like, it's not a sad moment, but that story gets me sometimes. So just any kind of choice I have to make, and I don't want to make that. It gets me Sarah McLachlan dog commercial heavy. You know what I'm talking about. You have that feel. Yeah. I think it's the narrative. The story has it. There is a story to it.
If that ever comes over, you just think Kim Kardashian.
Yeah, Kim Kardashian, cute clothes.
Does AC/DC Donkey Kong move you emotionally?
For 35 years, it's done the job. How about that?
Agree with you.
Yeah, the weird thing about AC/DC is I never get tired of it, and Donkey Kong, I just don't get tired of it, so it's all good. I'm a simple man with simple pleasures, and that's just the way it runs.
Hey, when you guys were talking about pinball, how important is the IPs for pinball? Isn't that going to be going forward? Like the properties like AC/DC and the Walking Dead pinball machine and Because those games are fantastic.
Yeah,
and
so-
it's kind of the draw. Like
So-
if I see that Walking Dead machine, I'm drawn to that because it's Walking Dead.
So here's the thing, and I know Patrick's big into pinball, as is Brent. So I think that you need to hear 3 answers to this question, okay? Because there's perspective here, and I think everybody's got a little bit of a different perspective. But for me personally, I think the IP is very important because it's initially what would draw what would be an otherwise uninterested participant or player into a particular game. Stern has arguably become a master of licensing and licensing good properties and making good pinball machines and good pinball machines off of those properties. So they tend to have, I think, reduced this somewhat to a very formulaic output, but one that is still extremely successful. Now, somebody like Jersey Jack or Spooky Pinball, they're going with unlicensed themes, and it's great to see them. But ultimately, when I look at my collection that I have at home, I've got licensed themes from Stern, and I love them. I love them. So, okay, go for it, Patrick.
Can I ask a question about that?
Yeah, sure.
Is it because the gameplay is better, or is it because the familiarity with content?
Yes. So, okay, and then what I will say is that for right or wrong, okay, Stern has a group of individuals that we would consider career designers that are obviously very gifted at what they do. And Stern's recipe is, I think I used the word formulaic a few minutes ago. Stern's recipe is a bit formulaic. I'll admit that, but it works. And you know what you're getting with those games. And the rule sets are deep, and the games are fun, but it's still approachable, and they do put in a fair amount of R&D and I think production quality into the games that would bring in someone who is not, let's say a hobbyist player and draw them in. For whatever reason, I know it sounds a little weird, but it works. It works.
I think about that because when we came out here, the first machine I saw was Tron, and I really loved Tron.
Oh yes. Yes.
Because it was Tron, not because it was a good pinball.
No, and I get that, and I think that the thing that you owe it to yourself to do is play some of the pinball machines away from the rattle and the noise of the crowd, because you're not getting the full experience of what Stern offers on like a Tron or a Walking Dead or an AC/DC or something like that. The sound is just as important on the pinball machine as is the theme, the rule set, and the execution of the art and the gameplay. And Stern does a fantastic job with the overall production there. So catch Tron in a closed room, and you'll love it even more than you love it right now. Yeah.
I noticed that there's a lot of cool computery sounds,
Call outs and everything like that. Yeah, and the music is it's good. So I think we feel about that the same way that you feel about the production and the theatrical quality of the new games. Pinball would bring a tear to my eye. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry.
When you write the check.
Yeah. And with pinball, we always write the check, don't we? We always do.
It's expensive. I guess my comment on this, one side comment is talking about the immersion factor. Is one of the things that they're starting to do nowadays with the newer games is put headphone jacks on the front. And so talking about immersion, you can get immersed in pinball pretty easily if it's done right. Especially the music games. Metallica in particular is great. They've done a great job with the soundtrack on that. And so you can start to feel it, right? And that's fantastic. So there's that. I think as far as the IP are concerned, it draws people in. How many pinball collectors like myself have bought a game because they love the intellectual property and realize the game really sucks? So X-Files comes to mind. Starship Troopers. It doesn't suck. It's not great though.
With Starship Troopers, you should have known with Starship Troopers it was not going to be a good game.
Love the movie though, right?
You're the one.
So I think Whitney's right. Stern has done a really good job with their intellectual property stuff. especially lately. But they were in a rut there for a while, especially with the superhero stuff, to where it just seemed like it was the same old thing. Using, just go on to the next superhero thing, and we'll do the same old thing. They got formulaic. He used the word. I thought that was problematic. And I think using the intellectual property stuff, in some cases, puts boundaries on the designer. And if you go out and look at some of the games out here that are not tied to an IP, you'll find some really innovative designs. Weird stuff, but innovative. Go look at, we talked about it last night, so sorry if you were here last night. Alex? No, what was his name? What's right here?
Alex.
Alex, yeah. Alex was here last night. Go look at the Machine Bride of Pinbot. Absolutely not tied to some sort of property. It was thought up in somebody's crazy brain. It's about building a sexy robot and bringing her to life. It's an overtly sexual game. Red flashers where the nipples are. No kids in here, I guess. You'll see a big rocket going up the legs, in between the legs. Totally sexual artwork. Brilliant game, though. Brilliant.
This line of conversation seems to be a pattern for you tonight, Patrick.
Yes. Yeah.
It's the Westworld of pinball machines.
Yeah,
Take
it's good
Patrick's
stuff.
line from me.
I'm done. Thanks.
On the IP side, I'm not a console gamer. I'm not a modern gamer. But there was a few times in my life when I was laid up and watched the old G4 network. Remember that in the gaming? I come really close to buying a console just to play Kingdom Hearts because they had a Tron in like Kingdom Hearts 2. They had a Tron world, whatever that console it was on. But I know that there's some console and PC games that were IP based, and they were sold based on the IP, and the game itself was terrible.
That runs rampant in console games.
Because they're just trying to cash in.
Yep.
So you get the same thing in the pinball world in that you can cross over and have a terrible design and a good IP and the game doesn't sell. Or you can have a great IP and a terrible design. Avatar is a perfect example. I mean, does any movie make any more money than Avatar? Is it still like number one times like 6? And the pinball didn't go anywhere. I mean, Stern will almost give you one if you take it. They're just everywhere. And Ghostbusters is a kind of an oddball example. Is it still relevant to anybody that's younger than 30, 35, 40? Not really.
Not according to this past summer.
No. That game is selling like mad. But that's a cross of a fairly decent IP and a wonderful design. I often said I'm not going to buy a game unplayed. And I watched a couple play videos. I know the designer and I like his work. I'm in. I'm buying the game.
So Brent goes and buys a Ghostbuster, and he said, Whitney, we got to go buy a Ghostbuster. And I'm like, okay, I'll go buy Ghostbuster. And that's what we did. We bought Ghostbuster.
They bought 2.
When it was
you bought 2?
When it was said and done,
one for each of them.
Oh.
When it was said and done, we actually got 4. Wow. Yeah. So I suckered 2 more people into the deal.
I'll give you $100 for yours.
I bet you will. But real quick, you were talking about IPs back in the days of Addams Family when the movies were out. One of the ways they were trying to decide if it was worth making that game, best-selling pinball of all time, like 22,000 units. They would go out, the people from Williams Valley, and they would just walk up to a random person. You get shot today. And they would do da-da-da-da. And then everybody could finish the Adam da-da-da-da. And they were like, yeah. So that's what sold it for them. They're like, yeah, we've got to do this. Everybody knows that name. And it just happened to be that it was also a good design.
It was a great game, yeah.
You guys have anything you want to
I have
add?
one other example.
Okay, go ahead. Yep.
I have another example on a good IP, bad game that's out here in the game hall, although I think it's broken. Back to the Future. Pinball.
Interesting. Hey. I'm building one now.
That's not a good game. Not highly recognized as a good game.
Fight.
BTTF.
Fight.
Yeah.
Fight.
Yeah.
I love the movies.
I know the movies are
here's
great,
the
but
thing.
the game's not
I
a
can't
game.
really weigh in on pinball because I suck at pinball. Truthfully, if you guys want to feel good about your gaming abilities, just play me on any of these games out here.
But you're right,
play more.
Patrick. The game isn't the best.
Yeah.
That's an IP game for me.
It's ripe for a redo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's not even Michael J. Fox on there, right?
No, it's not.
No.
They
Yeah.
couldn't. He
They
wouldn't
couldn't
give
get his
permission to
likeness.
put his.
It's the artist's son, I think.
Yeah.
I think it's Yowsey's son.
Yeah. It's generic Marty McFly.
He was like, this game's going to be terrible. I don't want my face on it.
How's the Game of Thrones
Okay.
Welcome to hour 2.
Yeah. So here's the thing. I've played Game of Thrones. Yeah. So Game of Thrones, whether you're a fan of the property or not, okay, me personally, I'm not a fan of that property, okay? I've never even watched that show. I have -1 interest in watching Game of Thrones.
That's
right?
why you're not a fan.
Well, okay, and that may be fair, but when I've played the game several times, and it feels like there is a play field sitting on top of a play field. It's way too busy, and it literally feels like I'm playing on a stack of pancakes. All right, that's just me. I just don't care for it.
It's a game within a game?
It feels it feels like 1.5 pinball machines. Is
Very
what it feels
Shakespearean.
like. Yeah, that's the best way I know to say it. Yeah.
There's very few shots in it. I finally got to play a premium, or actually it was LE Premium's the same play field, and it's like 5 shots, and it's the definition of a fan layout. It's like shot, 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 and then one of the shots will get you on the upper play field, and that's about it.
And then on the upper play field, you just go in circles until you drain and come back down. It's just, I don't know, it just feels weird.
I hadn't had a chance to see it.
What? Is that a big IP game for you that you would look at because of the IP?
Yeah, definitely.
Now see, you may like it, now.
That's okay.
Yeah, I would go to it just because of the name.
Now there's a pro game. Stern does 3 tiers. And I guess this isn't in the video gaming world, is there? Where they'll do tiered gaming for, I guess it's like in-app purchases. But
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Well,
We call it easy, medium, and hard.
Stern does 3 levels of games. The designer designs it with everything in it, bells, whistles, all of it. And then that will be the limited edition game, and that same play field and all those toys will be the premium game. And the differentiation between the premium and the LE is money and art, generally. Maybe a little better speaker or something, shaker motor. And then limited production on the LE. You're paying for exclusivity. Then the Pro, they start cost reducing stuff. And they'll take out toys and features. Game of Thrones was like the worst offender. They took that whole playfield off. And I don't know, there's a black hole or some singularity there. I don't know.
Singularity. I like that.
But one property that I think is actually better as a Pro than as a premium or an LE is The Walking Dead. I mean, to me, you walk up to The Walking Dead Pro. I think the Pro version, the stripped down version of The Walking Dead, is way more fun than the premium or the LE.
Ghostbusters Pro rocks.
Yeah. Yeah, AC/DC is the same way. I mean, it slays as a Pro, but it feels a little like lumbering to me as a premium or an LE.
So let's close out with, we'll start with Adam on the end. And it can be console, PC, pinball. Adam, what's a game you're looking forward to in the next year to 2 years that is coming out? Don't steal mine.
That's a good question. For a long time, I'm a fan of, once again, I'm more of a console gamer. I'm a fan of Shadow of the Colossus, if you guys have heard of that. And so for a long time, almost a decade now, it feels like the Team Eco, depends what you want to call them, has teased The Last Guardian, and finally here soon, I believe, December, like the next few weeks pretty much, we finally, after almost, it feels like a decade in development, we have The Last Guardian as a PS4 exclusive, so I'm looking forward to The Last Guardian myself.
Brent?
So, do you all know what games come out, or is it like super secretive? I mean, in the pinball,
some of them we know.
In the pinball world, they'll stab a nun if they think that the nun knows and they want to keep her quiet. Oh yeah.
And they'll sacrifice that nun
with
sacrifice that nun with zero concern for anything else.
She's dead.
Yeah, done.
So you have no idea?
No, well, Stern's the biggest producer today.
Yeah.
Spooky and Jersey Jack are very small, so it's easy for them to stay tight-lipped. And Stern tends to leak like a sieve if they want to.
Didn't the Mustang pinball machine when it came out a couple of years ago? Is that what I'm thinking of? There was one based on a car. Was it Mustang?
Oh, I love Mustang. Oh.
Mustang? That got leaked, right? Like everybody knew that.
They all get leaked.
Like even I knew that game was coming out.
That's one of the games that the IP didn't sell it. It hardly sold, and then everyone gave it a chance once they. I don't like Mustang. The game rocks.
Right.
I love Mustang, but it's kind of the community's forever talked. Whitney and I were talking about this earlier. Have talked about Iron Maiden, and that's always been a rumor. And Stern tends to joke with people, but there's been a few hints dropped, so we don't know. I don't know if it's a joke or if they're actually going to produce Iron Maiden. And I just spent a lot of money on a premium game, and I would be hard pressed not to do it again, especially if it was a designer I liked.
If you find out a Thin Lizzy pinball machine is coming out, sign me up.
We could make you one.
Yeah.
Rolling Stones are cheap. We'll retheme it.
Or Fog Hat.
Fog Hat.
Well, I am definitely going to buy the $100 DS, a 3DS, and I will also buy the Switch when it comes out. As far as the game that I want, Brent and I've talked about this on the show. I want a Dukes of Hazzard pinball. Okay, off to you, Patrick.
With no Confederate flag, though. Sorry.
No. It's part of the show. It's part of the show.
Yeah, that's interesting. So rumor has it that there's a new. I have two answers to this.
Okay.
Rumor has it there's a new Star Wars game coming out, right, from Stern, right? Brent's looking at me.
I wasn't aware of that, but it kind of wouldn't surprise me.
I mean, it's been rumored for a bit.
Yeah.
As long as they've got the money to pay the mouse, because the mouse wants his money.
Yeah.
And Forrest Whitaker's in it, right, Adam?
The mouse will stab a nun.
Yeah. So I'm a sucker for these Star Wars games. So I'm looking forward to if that does come out. I wish that they would do Pink Floyd pinball game, but I don't think it'll ever happen. And then on the more realistic front, I'm a Vectrex. I've recently started collecting Vectrex games.
Very nice.
And I am on the list to get a homebrew Vectrex game that is a Vectrex version of Tail Gunner. Wow. You old arcade guys remember that? Tail Gunner?
Are there any Vectrex fans here?
Yeah.
I got something to show you when we're done.
Okay.
Hey, easy.
Oh, yeah.
It's not that kind of panel.
No, I'm not. I'm bored here.
What about you, JP?
And this is the one I thought Adam was going to say. Rockstar's.
I kept it for you.
Rockstar's Red Dead Redemption. Yeah, they just announced it about a month ago.
Yeah.
There's going to be a Red Dead Redemption 2, the sequel, which is technically the third Red Dead game. But I'm a sucker for Rockstar games, like
Which
GTA
is like
5.
it's Grand Theft Auto in the West.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of, with less hookers.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not this time around.
Oh, really?
No, you never know.
Hey, what have you heard?
Yeah, I've never played that, but I've heard good things about it.
It's fantastic. Yeah.
What are you guys looking forward to? Anything?
Any big games the next 12 to 24 months you're looking forward to? Consoles games?
Look at this guy, double fisting.
Yeah.
Are you going to share, sir?
Anyone?
We're looking for this panel to be over.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Amy, what game are you looking forward to? Uh-huh. You can't hide behind your friends now.
The new Guess Who?
Yeah. The new Guess Who.
I like it.
Josh? Have you been asleep?
No.
Good morning, sunshine.
Where's my knife?
Kyle?
He's thinking about that VR set.
Nice.
Nice. Chase? Leanna? Casey? Oh, Jared, what are you looking forward to?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That'd be a good one. Tony, did you say? You said yours, right?
He said virtual butthole.
Fractured butthole. Virtual butthole.
Fractured butthole.
That's a
right?
guess, yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, I didn't know if that was like a Terrence and Phillip play or what that was.
Did I just hear virtual butthole?
We thought that's what he said. Yeah. He almost had.
No, that's what I thought he said.
He almost had two spit takes right there. That would be like a hot coffee. That's like a
spit
Gallagher scene from hell. Like hot coffee right in the front row there.
Now, what game are you looking forward to? You know, virtual butthole. The simple ones.
Proctology Simulator 1.
Yeah.
Hey, and the PC guys can attest to this. The simulator games are huge. It would not surprise. I mean, there's been a goat simulator game.
Yeah, it's fun. Ish.
Virtual butthole proctology is not out of the realm of possibility. That is a high note to end on.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Anything you guys want to add? Hey, what's going on over here? I'll make it my business, buddy.
Oh, wow.
What?
I'm looking forward to being Football Manager.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Any closing thoughts?
Nice more.
What? Are you heckling me now? I will come off the stage. What do you want to finish up with?
I just say this has been a lot of fun. I
Yeah.
really enjoyed it. Thanks for the open conversation, and it's been great meandering everywhere, going nowhere, but covering everything. So yeah,
that's what I strive for.
Where can folks find out about your podcast?
Who's that directed
You're
to?
talking. Oh, my bad. My bad. My bad. I thought you were talking to Patrick. My bad. So Brent and I, we are brokentoken.com. Super easy to remember. Just one word, it rhymes, and go find us. And we're audio podcast once a month and just cover classic arcade and pinball. So we've been going, what, Brent, like 4 years now, right at it? Yeah, 4 years or so. And
Almost 50 episodes in.
Yeah, almost 50 episodes in. It's an odd thing. Our listenership rates our podcast in either the number of commutes or the sheer number of hours that they can burn while listening to us. So we are a long format show, but it is a lot of fun.
Yeah, when he says long format, he means like they can talk about Nintendo CoinMex for 50 minutes straight.
I mean, I will admit, I do love my Nintendo. That's just the way it goes.
So ours is GameroomJunkies.com and also Southern Fried Gameroom Expo. Hope to see all of you there in Atlanta in June.
I can attest that's a fantastic show to attend. I do enjoy that one.
How would Donald Trump describe it?
It's huge.
It's huge.
It's wonderful.
It's huge. They like me very much.
If you like virtual buttholes, you can listen to the Adam and JP show.
Cyber.
What a selling point.
No. You can find us on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, Google Play, and at adamandjp.com. And we have these cards, so if you don't have one, come get one.
At least it makes you get a poster.
These are really nice
I can try to throw them to you from the stage. Does that sound fun?
Yeah.
Can I do one? Can I fulfill
nice.
my David Letterman?
Okay.
No, JP, throw it.
Good.
JP, you got to throw it Gambit style where people lose their heads.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, I don't know. Okay, I'm going to aim at the people I know. Oh, there we go.
Nice.
But thank you guys. This was fun.
Thank you. Thank y'all. Thank y'all.
Do you guys need a card? And you get a card. And you get a card.
Face Sealer.
This has been a production of the Adam and JP family of on-demand talk radio.
AdamandJP.com.
Right now.
This has been a broadcast of the ESO Network, your station for all things geek, classic, current, and beyond. Be part of the crew at ESONetwork.com.